A very good evening and a very warm welcome to today's Legatum lecture. My name is Vanita Yadav. I am a Fulbright visiting scholar at the Legatum Center at MIT. It's indeed my proud privilege to introduce to you Shahnaz Husain, India's beauty ambassador, global face of women power. How do you capture the essence of a woman who's been painted by M.F. Husain, honored by Indian President Kalam with Padma Shri, interviewed by Goldie Hawn, been a confidant to India's most charismatic woman Prime Minister, presented the International Award in Paris, walked the red carpet at Cannes, rubbed shoulders with world celebrities including Princess Diana. Launched by Barbara Cartland at the Galleries Lafayette in Paris and Harrods in London. Honored for outstanding innovation at House of Commons, British Parliament. Honored by Princess Grace at the Monte Carlo, celebrated by Deepak Chopra. Awarded World Medal of Freedom at the Annual World Forum, Washington, D.C. Lectured at Harvard and Oxford, honored by Hillary Clinton and invited to MIT. Offered the role of Empress Noor Jahan by a Hollywood film, directed and Woman of Substance, a film on her amazing life by Beverly Hills Film Production, selected as the United Nations Woman of the Decade. Elected chairman of CIDESCO, World Beauty Congress, New York. Received Woman of the Millennium Award from Global Indian Congress, USA, recognized by President Obama. Awarded the world's greatest entrepreneur by US-based Success magazine as the first woman in 109 years, selected Forbes Woman of the Year. Received Woman of the Year award from the Governor of California, USA, and made not just an entire nation, but people across the globe wake up to India's Vedic system of medicine. I'm absolutely honored and overwhelmed. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker today, Ms. Shahnaz Husain. Ma'am, please come.
I think after hearing everything that Vanita has to say, I have very little to add. But my presence here at MIT today is really to speak on entrepreneurship and how I created a brand without publicity. I lectured in Harvard on the same subject. When I asked Professor Hayes why I'm invited to Harvard, because I've not been to business school, he said that we teach our students at Harvard that every time you launch a brand, you have to put that much money advertising or publicity. You violate every norm we teach at business school. I would say the same thing at MIT, that what I have really proved is that publicity is not required. Word of mouth finally does the job. What I really did was something very different as an entrepreneur. I was engaged at 14. At 15, I was married. At 16, my daughter was 1 year old. It was tough because I was not educated enough to stand on my own feet. I was a housewife with a baby, lots of intelligence, but no education. My husband was posted to Tehran, and I thought, okay, I must educate myself. So I went to a school. I said, can I teach and earn money to educate myself? Because there was a limit of foreign exchange. The government of India paid $50 per person to go abroad. That was about 30 years ago. Now it's, of course, no limits. And they said, we can't give you the job. And I was very good in English. I was into Shakespeare and Keats when I went for the job to teach English in Tehran. And they said that we can't give you the job because you're not a graduate. Now that hit me very hard, because I said, my God, now I can't get a job to teach ABC because I'm not a graduate. So then I went home and I was very quiet, and at a party I met an English lady who said, I'll give you a job to write beauty articles. And what I want to come to fast as an entrepreneur is that the little incidents I just told Agnes, which understands the brain of an entrepreneur. You know, I had made up my mind very early that, I know, this is too bad just sitting home doing nothing. There's no way that I will do nothing. I have to do something. And something wasn't possible because I wasn't educated. I was married with a baby and no education, the type that required some kind of remuneration. So I met this lady to party. She said, "You speak very good English." I said, "Yes, it's Tehran." And she said, "Would you write like beauty articles?" I said, "Yes." I sent her some articles and she said, "You got the job." I was writing constantly and earning very good money. I needed money to educate myself. And I got a letter one day saying that, "Dear Princess, either stop writing or start typing because your writing is illegible." So I said, "My God, I've lost my job." And so I started typing. I was giving about 10,000 words a week. And because I was not trained, I was typing with one finger. And the finger became, I just told Agnes, became so sore that I used to, it was to bleed, so I used to wrap it up with a Band-Aid and then go on typing. And the typewriter was full of just little marks of blood all the time because it bled, and I went on typing. If I stopped typing, I'd have to stop paying my fees because I needed the money to pay my education abroad. I was very clever. I thought I have to go through 8 schools all over the world. So first I deposit my fees and then I'll go to school because that kind of money wasn't available in India. And I had to go on typing. So then finally when my fingers became very sore and hurt, I went to a doctor. And he said that, "Look here, what do you do for a living?" And I said, "Well, I type to collect money for my beauty schools." And he said that, "Well, if you don't stop typing," the flesh was really bad, the finger that I typed with, about 10,000 words a week. He said, "If you don't stop typing, I'll have to cut off your fingers." I'll never forget. I gave him one look and I looked down and said that my fingers are so long, even if it cuts off a little bit, there'll be such a long bit left. That's what you call entrepreneurship. And I'll never forget, but that was the moment in my life that I thought that now just do or die. I wasn't prepared to go back. I had to go ahead and had my back to the wall. And he said, "What?" He's a Russian doctor. He said, "You're mad." And he rang up the ambassador. He said, "There's a princess who came from India and she's really crazy. She says how much you'd cut off, and her finger's in bad shape. She can't type anymore." And believe it or not, in short, I continued for 3 years. I went on typing with the bandage and the Band-Aid. I earned enough money to pay for 8 schools in 9 countries and came back to India in 6 years and went to the Guinness Book of Records. My name went up as the highest qualified cosmetician in the world at my age because I started at 14. So that was the limit of entrepreneurship that I really put in. And I think that any entrepreneur must realize, if you make up your mind, you do what you do, there's no looking back. I thought that, now what am I going to do? Where do I start? So I started innovating in Ayurveda, plants. And that is where the story of Shahnaz plant past started. It's very difficult for me to describe the journey I went through. That will take a long time. I'll open myself to questions. But I would like to say that if you want to do something with your life, you want to make up your mind to do something, it has to be something that you never, never give up. An entrepreneur fights the back to the wall. If you want to do something, there is no stopping. It's up to you to make up your mind.
Hi, I'm Bijal. I'm an MBA and I graduate this coming June. And I currently have a startup that focuses on taking old saris and turning them into new products.
And I'm Caroline. I'm a first-year urban planning student and an entrepreneur in solar energy and waste recycling in India.
So we have prepared some questions to ask you, and then we'll leave a little bit of time at the end so that the audience can also ask questions. But the first question I'm dying to ask you is, how did you come up with this idea, and what was your first year of business like?
Ayurveda.
Yeah.
Oh, I was studying in a school in London and at Rubinstein. And a girl used to come every morning with a very beautiful lady and make her sit in the chair outside and come inside. And I said, why do you make her sit outside, bring the lady inside? And she said, she's my mother. I said, fine, bring her in. I said, no, my mother is blind. I said, what happened? She said she was a model for a very famous makeup company, and she used to model mascara and eyeliner. Over a period, she lost her eyes. She's gone blind. I started thinking, she was my best friend. I said, if a woman can go blind with the use of an eyeliner, then there's trouble for the future. So why don't we create something that is problem-free? And the only thing that I thought problem-free is plants and nature, because I don't think honey or yogurt or sandalwood or neem or any other tree could hurt or harm, but chemicals can. So that is where the story of Ayurveda started in my mind. I saw the Western world staggering under the side effects of chemicals, coming back to nature, and back to nature meant back to plant power and India and Ayurveda.
And how was your first year of business? What happened in the first year?
It's very, very unusual. I think that I was different from everybody else. I was sort of destiny's child. I think there's nothing very great about me. I think I was the right place at the right time in history. When the world was looking, I was just there and ready to take off. I started just one salon in the house, and because I did not have enough money to invest in my business, I thought I'd take a place in the part of the house I'd use less and open into a salon. So when my husband or children needed me, I was there. Otherwise, I was in the business. And I was paying no rent because I was in the house. So I was a mother and a housewife and a career woman and everything together. And I thought that, what make me very different is that I thought that if I advertise and say that I'm the best, come and try my skin treatments, I would be talking about myself. So immediately people would come, but then it's up to them to decide. So I would not advertise at all. I would let them speak for themselves when they were cured. And what I did do different was I wasn't into beauty. I was in treatments and with plants and herbs and skin cure and skin care, not beauty. It was different from everybody else. So that is where the story started. And then people started dropping in, having treatments and talking about it. So a period of time, the word spread that there's such a woman, staying in this area that works miracles with the skin, plants. And then one of my clients went to Italy, and one of the doctors said, go back to the country of Shahnaz Husain, she has the cure. So I understood that Italy also has arrived by way of knowledge. So gradually the word spread, and I think it took almost, it wouldn't make you amused, but it took about 30 years to be where I finally reached. Because word of mouth is very, very slow, but it's very positive, very, very sure that if somebody's got a problem, you cured them, then she tells 100 people that this is what happened, this is where I am. So I really believed in word of mouth. I'm against publicity, and to date, it's 42 years, my company, I've never advertised. And that's why I lecture of the world of how to create a brand without publicity. I started by borrowing $3,000 US. It was recently the market value of Shahnaz was given as 1 billion plus. Finally, I did it right.
How did your husband and the rest of your family feel as you started on this journey? And did it change the fact that you were at that point a young mother, a female launching an entrepreneurship at the time you did?
It wasn't easy. My husband was very great. He sort of helped me a lot because he knew that, you see, I made it very clear in the beginning that I'm walking this path. The fact that I got married doesn't mean that, I need to answer a situation. If I, as a mother and as a wife and as a daughter, are not doing my duty, I'm fine. But if everybody is happy, but they still insist that I should hit the beaten track as a wife, that's wrong. You're born alone, you live alone, you die alone. If somebody holds your hand on the way, good, and they must love you for it, let you go. But if they insist that you must do what they say, I think that's not necessary. You should do what you think is good for yourself. And that I'm sure my husband got clear. So even if he stopped me, I still wouldn't listen, that's for sure. So then what's the point of stopping me? You stop a person if they won't listen. if he said don't go, I'd still go. If he said don't jump into the well, I'd still jump. So stopping, they knew that she's a, one-track horse, she would never stop. And even if, what happened? Suppose he said, okay, I'm divorcing you, letting you go. At one point, my situation came that I would take the baby away. I had very tough in-laws. I said, fine. I was given the message by someone that, you won't have your family so long. I said, doesn't matter, then I'll have family later on, more children, no problem. But my life can't stop. You live one life and you live it well lived. And you don't answer anybody but yourself. If in the conscience and in your mind, you're sure you're doing right, then nothing can stop you. But beyond that, I think no power in the world should ever stop a woman but her doing what she thinks is best for herself. Most important is she must answer to herself. No one in the world, no one has a right to tell a woman ever, do this, do that. Why? No one has given anybody the right. A man and a woman are the same as far as their values are concerned, as far as their rights are concerned.
Started your first salon, then what happened next? How did you go from having one salon to having, literally when I go to India, Shahnaz is everywhere, the brand is everywhere, I use Shahnaz Gold, it's everywhere. So how did it go from being in one salon and you doing it to it becoming a scaled business?
I think you should have a separate department in MIT, and maybe I can come once a year to lecture in MIT, how to create a brand without publicity. It's really very hard to say that. I don't know why the billions of dollars are spent in publicity, because suppose I advertise a moisturizer, Shah Moist, it's my hottest seller, and say use Shah Moist, is good. If it's good, you'll buy it. But it's not good, no matter how much money I pump in, it will not be there. Your value of the ad is as powerful as that time you see it for that moment. Tomorrow morning is a bigger ad of another product, maybe the same product in another form. So I don't think that, how can an ad help? If I say it's good and it's not good, you throw it away. But if your best friend says try it, it's miracle, it's fabulous, then what happens? So what really matters is the quality of the product, not the ad that goes behind it. What's the use? So many huge multi-billion-dollar ads come in with the product, and the product disappears, you don't know where it went. So I don't think the ad is really important. The cosmetic empire is pumping billions of dollars into a hysterically mad cosmetic industry, selling youth and dreams in bottle jars. There, as thought, they're selling chemicals, no good, the whole world is selling chemicals. I sold a civilization in a jar. I sold 3,000 years of India's heritage in one jar. The cosmetic buyer of Selfridges told me there's a princess has a very big problem with your products. She didn't sound very happy, but I was. She said that if somebody comes for Lauder and is not available, give them Dior, and they're happy. We give them YSL, and they're very happy. But somebody comes for Shahnaz, they go back and come back, there's no second. That's the USP of Shahnaz. Why? If we have an anti-aging Shah Life, we have a problem for hair, a special problem, cleanser. We have under eye, we have skin care, we have body care, we have scars, we have anti-wrinkle, all made from plants. And the plants are based 3000 BC by way of knowledge, but what I have done is put in the latest advancements in skin science. If tomorrow America, UK or US says that so-and-so product, jojoba is good, or any cactus is good, whatever, I add that also, so it becomes in vogue. Women look around for the latest product, so it becomes something that everybody would accept. It's not easy because it's a very cutthroat, fierce market, cosmetics. But to survive there, I don't know whether you'll know, but I think you'll have a photocopy in your file, that one client walked in August this year, and British lady, and brought cosmetics worth 4,334 pounds, one woman. The cosmetic buyer objected. She said, I'm scared it'll finish. So tell me which product can sell for a single product that much just by the power of effectivity. An ad wouldn't get you 4,000 pounds, that's about, I think, 8,000 US. So really, the product quality is important, not the ad. I think all the ad companies will back up, but anyway, what is the use of saying it's good? If it's good, it'll show. If it's a shampoo or skin, okay, whatever, body care. What's the use of an advert? It's nice to inform maybe by way, what you should really do, anybody who launches a product, anyone of of you goes into your career was to launch a product. What I did do, and I must say that for you to remember, is the moment I opened a salon, I called the press. And that's what my little mind thinking when I was 15 or 16. I thought if I call the press, they'll write about me. So then began the story of Shahnaz. So everybody wrote that I met her and this is what she said, and I met her and this is what she said. Now, people love to read the story of a person, the product behind it, and what she says it does. And oh, I have a bald patch that might help, my hair is falling. She says this will help. My skin is bad, I've got acne or pimples, this will help. And then people started coming back. And another thing that is very different I did was, I wasn't selling a shampoo or a product or cream, I sold prescriptions. You know, Ayurveda, morning this, afternoon this, night this. Morning this, afternoon this, night. For hair, it was shampoo to apply whenever washing, tonic daily, every day, and then hair serum whenever skin or hair feels dry. So it was, everyone wrote a prescription on Shahnaz. Then we opened schools to train people to write prescriptions. So the beauty school started. Now, and I think within India, we have about 8,000 schools. Then I was very concerned about India. I thought there were little girls, very clever, intelligent girls, married early, 14, 15, 16, lots of babies, nothing to do, very bored, very brilliant, very intelligent, very rich family, housewives are not very rich, but nothing to do because they weren't educated. So I went on a lecture program and told girls to refuse to get married unless you have a technical education. Just say, no, I'm not getting married. Unless your parents give you technical education, don't get married. Number one. Number two, if you're married and you have nothing to do, then open a salon in the house. So I started a system of women opening salons in the house, and so there was no rent, there was no problem, the wife going out, you know, husbands or mother-in-law saying, oh, we go out is bad or whatever. So in the house, they were earning money, and then I said earn money in the house and then buy a shop or then rent a shop. So they're earning themselves to becoming bigger. And that became a worldwide movement, and starting from Delhi and all over India, and then became the largest, was sent for the Guinness Book of Records, the largest herbal chain of its kind in the world. So there was no looking back. You know, an entrepreneur never looks back. And most important, more than looking back, never gives up. I'll never give up. If I make up my mind to do something, I don't think I should say God, but nothing can stop me. How can anything stop me? I've made up my mind. But remember, if there's a wall, there's a method of walking through. If I'm walking and see a wall, I'll never turn back. I'll make my door and walk through and let the world fall into place.
In the U.S., one of the things that's fascinating, in the U.S., women spend millions of dollars to darken their skin, while in India, the same kind of ads for chemical products advertise for women to lighten their skin. So how do you see this advertising push for women to want to look or be different? And how do you think your products address or counter that?
No, it's a very difficult situation. I created a product called Fair One, which became one of the hottest sellers in India for fairness of skin. It wasn't fairness, but clearing the skin. The problem is that if you see the papers, it says, wanted a fair bride. It's one of the main assets they're looking for is color. It's nothing to do with India, really. It's the culture of several centuries coming down that a girl is fair, she's beautiful. In your part of the world, you want to get dark. So the culture of fairness is ingrained over the years that a fair girl is beautiful. But beyond that, I think there's nothing to be concerned about, because I think the color is not important, the quality of the skin is important. The color of the hair is not important, the quality is important. But I think now India is changing. I don't think fairness is all that great. But there is a great concern that if the girl is fair, she's beautiful. So I don't think that should worry anymore. It's changing now.
That's good.
The cream that I created was called Fair One. But why, you say that I'm talking against fairness and fairness is not important. But what I saw was, and the reason why I made this product was, the fairness cream is very expensive. This one very cheap. Maybe it was $0.50 or maybe $1, mass market. And the second was that they were using very powerful chemicals to whiten the skin, damaging the kidneys. I knew the hydroquinone and things like that. I said suicide. The Time magazine has a huge article once I read that thousands of people all over the world would die of kidney failure and sleep and still color their skin or hair with detergents or chemicals that are bad. So I thought, okay, then I'll mix the same thing from plants, So there are no side effects. That's where the story of fairness with plants started.
Thank you. I think we'll open it up. I'm sure people in the audience have questions. So, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm curious, what would you say is either your biggest regret or the worst mistake that you've made either, business-wise, but specifically on your road from, a young teenager starting their own business and education to where you are now? What is the one thing that you look back on and said, I wish I hadn't done that, or I wish I did this differently?
Well, I think the biggest mistake I made was that I was offered about 10 years ago a very huge marketing company wanted to take the product worldwide marketing. You see, I am actually a chemist. I am specializing in treatments and cures from plants. I am not a marketing person at all. And the situation is that I am not really keen that the whole world know about me. They would finally know about the product as time goes on. And that kind of publicity took 43 years. So my, I think, greatest mistake was that when I was offered this chance to go worldwide marketing, at that time I said no. I thought that, even now I think that, if somebody takes my product and mass markets it, then that, it's a product which requires consultation and care. So, become a sort of a money-making machine and would lose the spiritual touch that I've given it as an individual. But I think now I've made up my mind that if I get the right marketing tool, I would let them mass market it worldwide. We have several companies. Every day we have people from all the world saying that we want to invest in Shahnaz, we want to market. I'll be very careful. I have to give it to the right person so don't make a mistake. So sign a sort of blunder. I want to be careful. But I will now. That was the blunder I made. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, your daughter compared you to the black swan of Nassim Taleb, and you were the black swan for politicians and bureaucrats. So what was your message to all these people?
Well, what message can I give except that I am that way I am, and I don't think any part of the world could change me. I'd continue to be the black swan forever. No part in the world would change me to anything else. I'd continue the way I was.
Go ahead.
I would be interested in knowing what your views are on using social media as a means of marketing, because it's cheap and it's in your control, so you're not really giving up control of how you market your products.
I think social media is a very good idea. It's excellent. It takes you away from mass marketing by way of ads, and then it's the right method, I think, to go through. Social media is very good. It was more of conversation and giving yourself in it, and it sort of puts you on a one-to-one basis with the person concerned. It's very good as a marketing tool. I'm still against ads. I still don't think that mass marketing is good. Maybe for a product is good, but not for a line. You see, we are not a normal product. I think, again, we're the only company in the world that is doing treatments and cures. Like, we're in serious business, like falling hair, dandruff, acne, pigmentation, dark circles, bald patches, alopecia, anything to do with scars, burns, acne, whatever. So I think in this type of a program, a one-to-one care program is necessary, not mass market. What do you say? IQ. What do you say in an ad? You can't tell a story in an ad. You can't. I was asked at a press conference in London that why don't you advertise? And I said, we're in Ayurveda. Do you all know Ayurveda? Ayurveda, it's a 3000 BC Indian science of treatments and cures. So they asked me at the press conference in London that why don't you advertise? And I said, you cannot advertise a culture, a heritage, or a civilization in an ad. You can write a book on Ayurveda. What do you say, that I work miracles? I'll give you one little example. If you read my press material, there's a story of Michael. I can't explain the power of Ayurveda, but you should understand, because there's heavy use of chemicals in your country. Princess Diana's grandmother, Barbara Cartlett, very good friend, she rang up, she said, the manager of Hyatt Regency, Delhi, his sister's son has gone blind with an unwritten disease, if nobody knows about it. His name is Michael, and can you help? And the reason why she rang me up was that when my father passed away, my mother became blind with shock. And I went deep in study Ayurveda. Every doctor said, we have no answer because we don't know why her eyes disappeared, so we cannot bring it back. And I said, my God, can't have mummy with no eyes, can't see, it's terrible. So I went into the study of Ayurveda, and I found a herb with a combination of others. It said, the secret to eternal sight. So I said, let me try, no harm. They're giving us so many eye drops, this also. And started that. And I flew away to Dubai for a press conference. She was on those drops for 6 months. And she was totally blind. And the girl used to take her around. And then the girl rang up one day and she said, in Dubai, she said, ma'am, I took your mummy for a walk and she can see the color of the flowers. And in short, when mummy passed away, she was reading newspapers, just those eye drops. So then Barbara Cartlett heard that and said, can you give this to Michael? He's young, he's in a computer company, he's suddenly gone blind. Now I don't know what happened really because my mother's drops are different to what he needed. And now today Michael is back in the computer company and he can see. You can read it in my press material. So I can't explain Ayurveda. Please understand, when the world had no chemicals, India always had herbs.
In the back, yeah.
You have put a lot of women into business in India. This is fabulous. The World Bank, in fact, has said women are the low-hanging fruit for India. Is that skill transferable to another business? Can you help someone else put a lot of women into business?
I'm all the time doing that. It's very worrying, but you can do that much and no more as a single person. But I've tried very, very hard to put women, from a level in society where they had trouble getting up. And then A is first to educate them. They first convince the people around them that they require education. That's one job, to get them out of their environment. And then educate them. And then just educating is no good, then to put them in a situation where they're able to earn or do something with their lives, financially or otherwise, place them. That's happening all the time. At the moment, I've taken 2 or 3 areas which cause me concern, which got a little away from your question, but one is the blind school I look after. I train them and then give them a career, and then of course get them set up. That's very important. And then the physically challenged, like the deaf and dumb, we get them jobs, and they're always in demand. And the third is people below the poverty line. We educate them, and then it's very important to set them up. Just giving them education, no good. You have to set them up and see that they have a career of their own to look after, because very often, if the husband earns, the whole family is living off him, it's tough. But the husband earns, the wife earns, then they have income which is double what it used to be. And then I feel that, and I keep saying this at woman power meetings, you educate a woman and you educate a whole nation, because the children, if the mothers educate, the children grow up in a better form. If the mothers educated, the children are better educated, they're financially better off because the mother was educated. So I think that it's very important that the women that are educated through me are set up. It's very difficult for you to understand, but to give a woman just education and then let her loose is no good. Then you have to set her up and see that she gets a job. I think what happens with most institutions is they educate and let go. I think that's where the job starts.
I'm complimenting you. You have solved that.
Thank you.
And can you help other industries set women up also?
Why not? Why not? I'd love to. Why not? If anybody comes to me and says, can you help, and we've got this group of women, can you help them do something worthwhile, I would love to do it. You just have to know that I'm available for it. I'd love to do it. Love to do anything that I could to make a difference in a woman's life. It would be worthwhile in any form, whatever.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your research and development department. you always going to Ayurvedic text for formulations, or you're looking at the plants and then developing your own formulations? And also, if you have something similar to like clinical, product testing, how do you know the product that you're developing are actually effective?
That's a very tough job what we're doing. Like recently we launched a product called Teleme from various plants, Indian plants. If I tell you too much, you start your own company. But anyway, we started working on that in 1989, and we launched it last year, which is 2012. So that requires some time to work out. We're never in a hurry. Even the iCol we have, we've tried over a period of maybe 10 to 12 years. We use something called Trifla, Har Beheda Aula, and then people with if the eyes are -2 or -2.5 or whatever, we test the eyes and start the iCol. And then over a period of 1 year, 2 years, watch, it becomes 1.5 and then 1, and then of course. So we see the Trifla is working in combination with other herbs. So all the time, our R&D is a very busy department, and I head R&D. I don't do anything in India. I head R&D, that means research and development. I had innovation, and I had quality control. That's all I do, nothing more. And of course, apart from that, I look after media. I think I can talk best for what I'm doing.
How big is your R&D?
It's very big. It's the R&D in Dhauj is about 25 acres. What we do is a lot of our plants, because I think there's so much pollution and so much of mess up in the quality of the plants, we grow a lot of our own plants. Because once you have your own plant quality control, then you can see the ultimate product coming out better than exactly buying from the market and offering to the public. R&D is very important, because unless you have R&D, you can. There are 2 or 3 things that are very required in business. Tough. One is research and development. All the time, you stop innovating, you stop growing. And the other is quality control. That's very, 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 very important. And for new ideas, innovations. I had innovations all the time. I'm all the time thinking of the tomorrow I will never know. Any other question?
Well, thank you so much for sharing your valuable experience, and thank you for engaging with our audience. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much.